Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to my live stream. And today we're going to talk about WWDC. I'm going to share my reactions. And if you're joining my live stream, if you're new to my channel, my name is Eugene. I'm an iOS developer. Please do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, and share. And let's just jump into WWDC, what was announced and what I think about it. So I'm going to start with State of Union. So the first thing that is really, in my opinion, is really amazing is Xcode Cloud. Well, if you've been an iOS developer for a while, and if you had to deal with CI/CD, continuous integration, and continuous development, it is not that easy. You have to set up a lot of pieces together. I think Xcode Cloud, if it works as it was described, it's definitely an amazing tool to solve a lot of CI/CD problems. So I think it is an amazing tool. I think it's a great idea, and I don't work with CI/CD a lot, but I definitely would like to try it out, and I think it would be just amazing to see your unit tests and your automated UI tests passing or failing in one place in Xcode. So I think it is amazing. Another thing that I like about Xcode Cloud is automatic signing. So if you ever work with tools like Fastlane or any other CI/CD integration frameworks, signing and like in the certificates and signing and everything, it's a pain. It's a pain. And if this tool manages automatic signing, it is absolutely amazing. So Xcode Cloud, I can't wait to play with it and see how everything works. So, and based on my experience on the teams that I used to work and I'm working right now, I think it would be, time will show definitely, but I think it's great. I think it's great, and I think it's needed. So the next thing that was announced was Swift concurrency, async await, and actors, and a lot of asynchronous code. Like Swift has major improvement this year, and I think it's definitely needed improvement in Swift. I hear a lot of, or I see a lot of conversations on Twitter if async await will replace combine. This is what I think about it. I don't think that async await, at least, of course, we're going to see over time if it's going to replace combine or not. I don't think that it's going to replace combine because, as I mentioned in my live stream yesterday, a language feature and a framework are kind of two different things. So async await and ability to handle asynchronous code is the language improvement, and combine is a framework where you can subscribe to certain events and react to certain events. It's a part of functional and reacting programming. So I see how combine and async await can work together. It's definitely a plus. It's definitely a language improvement, but I don't think that async await will replace combine. At least, like right now, like we have other reactive frameworks like RX Swift, for example. Does it mean that we can just go ahead and ditch RX Swift for the teams that work with RX Swift? I don't think so, because I work with RX Swift not super closely, but I personally don't see how that feature will just remove the entire framework. It will simplify certain things for sure, and we can benefit from this feature for sure, but I don't see how this language feature is like replacement for the entire framework. So if you're new to the live stream, if you just joined, let me know in the chat what you are excited about. I definitely would like to hear from you. And feel free to post your chat anytime, share your thoughts anytime. So we're just here to hang out. We're just here to share our impressions of WWDC. It's not just me speaking or talking about like WWDC, what I like and what I'm excited about. I also would like to hear from you. It's what makes the live stream alive. What makes the live stream interesting. So definitely, if you are joining the live stream, please share your impressions, share your opinions, share what you're excited about. I would like to hear from you. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, definitely subscribe and like the stream. It helps with YouTube algorithms. So back to WWDC. So Swift concurrency, it's definitely major improvement to the language. Another thing that was announced is Playground on iPad, and that you can build a mobile app on iPad. I've heard a lot of conversations about it, that people were thinking, or maybe it will be Xcode on iPad or something else. There are improvements to Playground on iPad, and the fact that you can develop a simple app on iPad and deploy it to App Store. It's a definite plus, and I think it is beneficial for the people who are trying to learn programming. And let's say that person has only iPad, and let's say iPad is cheaper than MacBook Pro. So they just want to start somewhere, and I think it's a great place to start with programming. Of course, it's not going to replace iMac or MacBook Pro. If you want to dive deeper into development, for sure, if you would like to be a developer, you do need a machine to do development. But as for getting started, it's a plus. It's a plus. So AR, a reality kit and object capture. So what really got me excited is object capture, because I haven't worked with AR the whole lot in my career, but from reviewing the code, from seeing the code, object capture, that particular feature of AR is definitely, it's a lot of work. And the fact that you can just use your iPhone to capture the object and model it, it's definitely an improvement. It's definitely an improvement. And I kind of want to play with it. I'm not sure if I will have time or energy to play with all of the frameworks. I'm probably going to focus on Swift UI. But that feature is definitely very interesting. And if not building the whole app, I probably would definitely play with the sample project and see what it is about. So, and it looks like AR is shaping into a framework that can be more easily accessible for developers, and especially now when many apps use AR, I think it's a plus. I think it's a plus, and I definitely would like to play around with that. So notifications. I think it's really interesting how Apple gives a user a power to determine how your app notification will be displayed. It can be silent, so there will be no sound or vibration. So when user wakes up their phone, they will see a notification. Or if a user determines that your app is more important, is more urgent, they will, as far as I understood the notifications, that the user can configure it. And I think it's It might be a food for thought for the product and kind of another way to think about how do we want to interact or engage with our user. So, and I would like to see how product managers, product designers will communicate that in the mobile app, because I think the decision whether or not to make those notifications like more urgent or not will depend on the type of app that user is using, and that might require additional thought from product managers, from the product, and from product designers as well, to think about how to make user to recognize that urgency, that they have to enable that notification for their app. So because and I like the fact that Apple gives a user the authority to manage their notifications, because as an iPhone user, I get a lot of notifications. I don't look at majority of them. If it's not a email or messaging app, or some sort of communication app, I probably won't look at notification. Sometimes I look at the news. Sometimes I look at Twitter, but majority of the time I don't need to see them. So, and as a user, I can definitely I can definitely see how it can be beneficial. So, next, there was a talk about device activity and parental control. So I'm not a parent. I think I like how throughout the for the Apple, how they value the privacy. I think it is really, really important, especially nowadays when your information, your breadcrumbs online can be traced. For example, you search something on Google and then you receive an email with promotion, or you see an ad on Facebook with that promotion that you just Googled. That kind of terrifies me. Like, and I don't know like how far certain apps could track my information. For example, like apps like Uber or Lyft, they have access to my location, and ideally, I would like to think that they just track my location when I use the app, when I move from one point to another. But I, like I that would be really scary if one of the apps, one of the companies knows your location like 24/7. So I definitely appreciate the privacy. Widgets. We have new widgets for iPads, extra large widgets, and I think it's it's interesting, and I think definitely Apple recognizes how widgets are popular right now, and with apps like Widgetsmith, and how other apps using widgets. That's probably what inspired like large widgets on iPad. I think it's a good improvement, and I would like to see more improvements on widgets, because even on my last live stream yesterday, I mentioned that like, yeah, widgets can be something interesting. So yeah, I think it's I think it's pretty interesting. Another feature that was announced was share play. So when you can share your movie or your music, or whatever activity you're doing on like on your media app, I think it's pretty interesting. I watch a lot of, not a lot of, some of the legal channels. I'm kind of curious how copyright thing will affect that. So let's say if somebody paid for subscription and purchased that song or movie and decided to share play that movie, that product that they purchased with a person that haven't purchased that product yet. I wonder if it is. I wonder if it somehow interferes with copyright thing. So like, which is it's just my speculation. Just because I follow certain lawyers on YouTube, and because I follow certain lawsuits based on copyright, especially in the media space, like with YouTube, or with things that were live shared on the live stream. So I think it's just interesting. So let's move to new user facing features. I like the improvement on FaceTime, and I think it will be beneficial for me and like my family members who don't own iPhone. My mother-in-law doesn't have iPhone, and she doesn't want to. She jokingly calls my iPhone K because it is so expensive, and she says I don't need it. We try to convince her to buy iPhone. I mean, we wanted to buy iPhone for her. She said no. I will just stick with my Android that I have. So, and as I go through the option, through the features that were announced, if you have something that you are excited about, please share it with it in the chat. I would like to hear from you. If you're just joining the live stream, please like and share. Do the YouTube thing. It helps with the algorithm. So, and more importantly, I would like to hear from you, because your interaction with me on my live stream, that what brings life and makes live streams are more interesting. So definitely share your thoughts. I would like to chat with you. I would like to hang out with you. So let's continue. I like the improvements for iMessages, especially for collage and for sharing options. And I like that iMessage will display if that device, that user is in do not disturb mode, because sometimes what is happening, let's say I need to message somebody like at night. It is something urgent. Majority of the time it is urgent. Well, yeah. So I like the feature where you can tap notify anyway. So it is kind of similar to Slack when you can notify anyway. So that's kind of that's kind of exciting. Huge feature that was announced is text selection. I think it is absolutely golden, because I use my phone and I take pictures of presentations at work or at the conferences, and then I have hard time to organizing those notes, because there, as of right now, there's no way for me to select the text and edit it. So I think that feature definitely helps. And with all those features that were announced, I'm kind of thinking about like getting iPad, because iPad is getting so many improvements that like I'm very excited about it. So and another interesting feature is that like that photo can recognize the breed of a dog or a cat. So I'm not a dog person, so or like I don't know the breeds of like cats and dogs. So like I think it's a kind of cool feature. So wallet improvements, keys that you can put your key and ID. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it, because maybe it's just me, But when it comes to privacy and when it comes to my home, when it comes to my wallet, I uh, Daniel said copying code from images will be great. Yes, I hope they will introduce that. I hope it will recognize the code. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Especially on the like meetups when somebody presents a piece of code, you take a picture and like you want to play around and implement it in your project later. That will definitely helps. Yes, absolutely. So the key and ID for wallet, I don't know. I probably won't use my wallet for the keys because every technology can be hacked. And especially with keys and IDs, like I don't want other people to have access to such a private place as my home. So, but I don't know. Like, I would like to hear more about security updates, how secure it is, because this is exactly why I don't install like Alexa or HomeKit in my home. I do everything by hand just because I don't want technology in my private spaces. Like I think I have a lot of technologies or things on my phone that already are tracking my online breadcrumbs. So I don't need anything sensitive like that on my in my home. So maps are Apple Maps definitely are have improved a lot, and I've been using Google Maps for a long time, because the navigation in Apple Maps was like kind of crappy, but it's improved. And based on what I've seen on the keynote, that's really cool, because my main problem with Apple Maps is to when you're driving on the highway, determining which lane I have to be in, which exit, where exit is, because sometimes in certain cities all the exits on the right. In some cities, like in Seattle, certain exits can be on the left. So, and if it is a busy highway, I would like to get in the lane beforehand. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Uh, AirPods. I like the accessibility feature that it can help people with hearing loss, with mild hearing loss, to hear better. So that person doesn't have to necessarily buy a hearing aid. Well, if a person has a hearing problem, I think it is still important to buy a hearing aid and not rely on AirPods. But I think as an accessibility feature, it's definitely very very cool. So let's see. Oh, health kit. Health kit. I'm excited about any like all of the technologies that are related to healthcare. I used to work at a startup slash company that was doing a lot of innovation in healthcare, and I think the technology that we have definitely can make a difference. And yeah, I'm excited about it, especially the feature that you can share your health information with your family. So, for example, I would like to know what's going on with like my family members, so I don't have to like me, especially if a family member needs my help to manage their health condition. So I think it can definitely be. I think it definitely can be like very very cool. What else? Test flight on Mac. Test flight on Mac is definitely exciting, and I think um, somebody on Twitter or YouTube mentioned that we need test flight on Mac, because we need to test not just iPhone apps, but also Mac apps. And now with test flight on Mac, we have an opportunity to do so. So I think it's definitely exciting. So let me know what you are excited about. Uh, any APIs that you are curious about? Like, what are you focusing on this WWDC? Did you have a chance to watch the both keynote and the State of Union? I think it was pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I like this WWDC a little bit better than last year. I think a lot of cool features were introduced, especially Swift concurrency. And what I like about the presentations in this WWDC is that demos, like some of the demos, were showing the concurrency code in their demos. So I think it's pretty cool. And I I was scrolling through my Twitter and just through WWDC presentations and certain documentation. I think a concurrency is coming to Swift UI as well, and we are going to have a lot of updates on Swift UI. I can't wait for those sessions. I can't wait to play around with those projects as well. I think one of the updates is a sync image that is based on async await. So I think it is pretty cool. So yeah, and this is like, as of right now, this is pretty much the whole list, or at least the features that I was interested in. And if you're just joining, like we were talking about Xcode Cloud, I think it's a big thing, and it's a big deal, especially for CI/CD and for DevOps team who are managing iOS builds, or for iOS teams who are trying to configure their CI/CD. And if you ever work on CI/CD and you're an iOS developer, you know for a fact that as iOS developers, it's not really our specialty, and like it's a steep learning curve. So I think Xcode Cloud will definitely help. So I think this is all that I had on my list for today, and I would like to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, and don't forget to do the YouTube thing, like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I would like to hear from you. Like, what are you excited? What are you looking for this WWDC? One thing that I'm kinda bummed out about is Combine. They haven't yet announce anything about Combine, and let me Google search really quick if there is anything about if there is anything about Combine or not. Apple developer. Yeah, let me just see if anything was announced or not. WWDC. Combine. CloudKit. Yeah, like it doesn't look like they announced anything on Combine, which makes me a little sad. Overall, I think Combine is pretty solid framework, but like I mentioned before, I would like to see a better integration with UIKit. I think it is integrated pretty great with Swift UI. I don't think there is more integration needed, but yeah, wondering if Xcode Cloud includes source control, or maybe it picks up from GitHub. based on what I hear and what I see, and the conversations going on Twitter and at my job, I think, and I think they announced it too. I think you can integrate your GitHub or GitLab, your source control with your Xcode Cloud. I think it is. I think it is an option. I think it's definitely an option. So, and I'm kind of wondering, if Xcode Cloud works really well, then we essentially don't really need a fast lane. I might not understand completely like CI/CD process how it works, but based on what was announced, and if Xcode Cloud can get your repo from GitHub or GitLab or whatever, and integrate it with Xcode Cloud, then I don't really see the need to use Fastlane, because one of the pains with Fastlane is code signing. So we have to install certificates, we have to do a lot of things, and it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do, especially on CI/CD. So and Xcode Cloud solves that problem beautifully, I think. Yeah, a lot of cool features were announced. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you have questions or thoughts or ideas. I know WWDC week is really exciting, and it's also very overwhelming. I was a little overwhelmed today, mainly because like I would like to kind of share with you what was announced and make it easier to digest and make a little summary what was announced. So and trying to like comprehend everything that was announced and play around with things on top of having full-time job. And I usually take some time off for WWDC, at least a day or two, so I can just digest and I can just focus on WWDC, because it is the entire day, at least the first day. But this year, because I moved into Denver, like I didn't do it. So yeah, it's a lot, and definitely pace yourself. And I think a lot of creators and a lot of other iOS developers who contributing to the community, like Paul Hudson, John Sandell, and others, they definitely will share their videos. And if you miss something, or like is something not clear, I'm sure that one of those creators will make it clear. For my channel, for this week and kind of moving forward, I I'm probably gonna record a few tutorials on Swift UI, because it is the most exciting thing for me. Um, I will try to um, play around with other frameworks, but like I am interested in Swift UI. I kind of look at the sessions that are going to um, for the few for this week. Uh, it is interesting, and yeah, I would like to play around with that. And there are improvements coming for, like I said, async image, which is implemented based on async await with Swift concurrency. I see a lot of graphic improvements in Swift UI. Um, and yeah, I, I'm kind of curious where Swift UI is going to be at, because I haven't played around with new Swift UI. I kind of want to wait for the sessions, what and announcements to be over and like listen to the announcements and they play around, because it kind of helps to listen to what is announced, listen to what is improved, and then play around with it. I think the documentation might be available for like new features in Swift UI, but like I'm just gonna wait for new sessions to come out. So if you don't have any questions, that's probably going to be a wrap. But I'm totally down to chat with you and chill with you and just hang out with you. I just went through the list not too long ago, and as you're thinking and coming out with your questions and thoughts, like kind of recap what I covered today, or what was announced today. We cover Xcode Cloud. We cover Swift concurrency, async await, actors, main actor. We talk a little bit about Playground on iPad. I think it is great. It is great for new developers who are trying to get into development. I am excited about AR Kit and object capture. That is really exciting. It's really complex thing to do. We talk about notifications. We talk about widgets. We talk about SharePlay. And we went through all the user-facing features on FaceTime, on iMessages. We talk a little bit about text selection and dogs and cats breed detection. So I think it's pretty interesting. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any thoughts. Otherwise, this is all what I wanted to talk about. Happy WWDC, and I can't wait to play around with all of the frameworks that came out. I'm super excited for all the people who came to my live stream. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. So if you have any thoughts, if you want to chat, if you have thoughts, if you have your favorite feature that was announced on WWDC, let me know in the chat. We can chat about it. We can talk about it. Otherwise, I'm pretty much done with the features that I wanted to cover. So I just would like to hear more from you. And I see a lot more people joining. So like if you just joining the live stream, we just went through the list, what was announced, and at this point we're just chatting. I would like to hear from you what you're excited about, what is your favorite feature, and what you are going to follow in this WWDC, because it's a lot of information to cover. So for me, it is definitely Swift UI. I probably maybe will play around with ARKit and object capture. I don't have a lot of I don't have any experience with AR, but I think this cool feature is definitely worth trying. I definitely would like to try async await with Swift concurrency. So yeah, if you feel like chatting, feel free to chat. Otherwise, we can wrap it up and enjoy WWDC. So I don't see any new messages coming to the chat. I think we're pretty much done for tonight. Again, thank you so much for coming to my live stream. Thank you so much for chatting with me. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in the next video. And happy WWDC. Bye, y'all.